Hello and welcome back to my Train Sim World 4 videos. Today, New Year's Eve, as I'm recording this, I'm going to do a little run from Penzance and Austell. I've entitled it Driving Home for New Year's Eve. The driver's on his last job of the day, and now we're going to get back home so he can go out for the evening. So it's going to be taking one of the Class 142s, Pacers, and driving it through some Cornish landscape and a bit of snow to throw in there as well. So let's get started. Okay, so we'll key in and let's get the reverser into forward and to get the doors open. Okay, let's do that. Put that down, get the lights on. I'll tell you what, there we go, that's done. Put destination lights on. I might put the okay, let's do the destination if we can. I'm going to put it on special because there isn't one for St Austell. It's just a couple of the Cornish stations are on there, but not all of them. So let's see. There we go. So we'll lock the doors. Give the guard the 2 buzzers back. And off we go. So we're heading out of Penzance, and our first stop's going to be St Austell. So as I said, this is a New Year's Eve drive from Penzance to St Austell. So the last shift of the day on driver's diagram, and he's going to go, hopefully get home in time to be able to go out in the evening and enjoy himself, ready for his New Year's Eve, and have some rest days coming up. Got a bit of snow, so we'll put the wipers on. It's the first video I've done in a few weeks. I'm been quite busy at work with various things. Well, actually not quite busy, very busy. However, that's all done and dusted with now, thankfully, I'm pleased to say. So I can get back on with doing some of these. Also, Christmas hasn't helped with all the hustle and bustle that goes along with that. And on that matter, I hope while you're watching this, you had a good Christmas and Santa bought you everything that you asked for. Maybe some additional routes for Train Sim World. So we're crawling out up the hill a bit here. We've got a speed change. So we'll whack it into full. So as I said, this is the Class 142 Pacer, which comes from the Blackpool branch's DLC. These are known as the skippers in Cornwall, and they're in sort of this brown and cream livery, which was supposedly a nod to GWR in the Western region. I'm not that keen on the colour myself, but each to their own, of course. So first stop St Austell, about 4 miles, 5 minutes away. Please excuse my coughing, I think I'm going down with some sort of bug. So this is the West Cornwall local route for those who perhaps haven't seen it before. It's been out a little while, at least I'm guessing 2 or 3 years at least. It's I like it. It's quite a nice route. Some people don't. There were some issues with it. I think some bugs in there. There has been an update fairly recently, which included some bug fixes and also I think a rail tour that was added to it. If you're the Flying Scotsman, I believe. The reason I like it, apart from the scenery, and it's an area of the country I really love, it also has sort of, you can drive fast. It's got some fast routes and some local stoppers. I mean, it's not a high speed route. If you like driving ICEs and the 800s on East Coast Main Line, this may not be for you. But if you don't mind the occasional station stops, then it's a nice route, and it layers a few additional trains on it. There's some freight work on there and whatnot. So it's definitely worth having a look at. I'm not sure if it's in the sale at the moment. That's on the PlayStation stores and others. But worth heading over and having a look, just in case that it is. In fact, there's quite a lot of bargains on there at the moment. I purchased Little Tar Barn the other day. I think it was like 30% off, and it's a great route. I really enjoy it. And for 20 quid, it's a bargain. So despite the fact this is a pacer, it's not particularly bouncy on this route. I think the bounciness depends on the type of track you're running over, whether it's got the continuously welded ones where there's not many track joints, or whether you've got the track that's got lots of fish plates and stuff in it, the shorter sections, then you get the bounce, I believe. And also it depends on how even the track is, of course. One thing to watch on this is that the tracks are slippery and the brakes don't work very well. You've got to leave yourself plenty of time to brake. I recorded this video once earlier on today and wasn't really paying attention, and decided to brake for the station and we just went sailing through it, so hence re-recording it. So about a mile away now, so we're roughly on time, but probably not quite as not going to be there for 52:22, I don't think, but we'll get something close to it. And we're going uphill. I might have to give it a little bit of help up the hill. So as you can see outside, it's quite a nice views of the Cornish countryside. This route's set in the very early 90s, I think. Maybe 1990 perhaps. Right, I'm going to put the brake in now. Give myself plenty of time to stop. Oh, we're a bit late already. I'm not too bothered. Delays are allowable when the weather's poor. Maybe I'll come into the station now. It'll be about a minute late, I think, which is fine. I've got another service coming on the other platform there. The doors, so we've got the, what's it, the 150 here, and another one over here waiting to leave. It's quite a little busy station, St Earth, isn't it? Might just get a photo opportunity here. Oh, not that. I want to do. Let's get a quick photo. Sorry for the slight delay here. I was gonna. There we go. Okay, we'll lock the doors. Okay. And off we go. I think this works on here.
The next stop is Red Roof.
Oh, it is. So it does work. So Red Roof is our next station stop, which is 11 miles away. We'll be coming out of St Earth, sort of sidings there with some trucks in them. Sea cows, I think. We've got on the other side here some sidings here as well. Some Mark 2s, I think, probably. Excuse me, sorry for my coughing. Up to 7. Oh, we've got a 45 coming up, so I better slow down a bit. We're not stopping at the station, so there's no need to slow down any more than that. So somebody asked me the other day what this button did on, I think it's on the class 165, 166, they have saying compressor speed up. So essentially, a lot of the systems on these trains, and well, most trains are run by air, so or require air. So you're talking possibly even these windscreen wipers might be air operated. You've got brakes, obviously, which are operated by air. You have what else? We've got doors be operated by air, and so obviously the train needs to produce air, so it has an air compressor which charges up tanks, and they provide the air through the train for all those systems. However, when the trains are shut down, certainly these older ones anyway, they will lose air. The air will just escape naturally through leaks and other sort of things, and you eventually find that the amount of air in the system is not enough to operate the doors and things like that. And so what you need to do is start the train up, and then eventually the compressor on the train will will bring up the air again. But that can take a little bit of time. So what they have is the speed up button. If you operate that, basically it runs the compressor at a much higher speed, which will put the air into the system much, top the air up more quickly, but it is very noisy, so there are restrictions to where you can use it generally. Come on, train, we're going up a hill obviously here. So yes, that's what it does. So you can use that, but only generally in special circumstances, in my experience, and yeah, it will be very noisy. I haven't tried it on here, so maybe I'll try that at some point when we get to a station. Here we are, climbing up the hill. Over this viaduct. So I think one of the improvements for any future versions of Trains in the World would be just the map view would be quite nice to put station names and junction names and things like that on the map. It would be really useful and just, you know, be of interest. I think there's probably a whole host of things I'd like to see, not desperately important, but the things that would be good to have on future versions. I'm sure everybody has their own ideas. And obviously concentrate on fixing those little bugs that are still in the system. So here we are. Let's we'll get up to 60 shortly. Bit of a way to go yet before we get to Redruth. Six minutes it says, which is probably about right. Doing 60 miles an hour, it's a mile a minute, roughly. So we're going to be a little bit later than that, but it's not a problem. Although we've got a speed change coming up in a second. And there's the warning board for the 50. I feel cold in here. Maybe I need to turn the cab heater on. The 50. What sort of passengers we got on here? Well, not too many. There were a few earlier on, but I think they've obviously all got off. In fair, I mean, I think one of the criticisms of Trains in World occasions has been the kind of the lack of activity on trains and stations. I mean, on a rural route on New Year's Eve in the middle of the afternoon, it's probably not going to be very busy, and rural stations aren't. In fact, even non-rural stations aren't that busy during the middle of the day. You see a few passengers, so I think the realism is okay there. I think it's probably the big stations where you don't really have a lot of people that seems unrealistic. I think maybe that's an area that could be improved a little, I think. So 5 miles away, so 5 minutes. So you can see, if you haven't been seen a pacer before, they are just buses. These doors if you've ever been on an older bus, you'll recognise the seats and you'll recognise these sort of bifolding doors, which are pretty pretty unusual to have on a train. The sliding or the plug doors that most modern trains have now. I'll need to go a bit faster. Also going back uphill again. This route has got AWS on it for most of it, which is good. As I said, and lots of my other videos are probably bang on about it. Is if you're playing the game, stick the safety systems on, particularly British routes. Anyway, if you've got the AWS, it is more realistic. I wouldn't worry about so much the DSD pedal. If you don't, you can put that on later. But the AWS will give you a feel for the next signals coming up and a reminder of what you've just passed, and so it's it's worth utilising. Oh, here we go, we're on the bounce now. Let's have a look outside. There we go. I've got 70 mile an hour coming up shortly. I think I may have said this before in these videos. There's a lot of this part of the world that I've not, this part of the UK train where I've not really explored, and I feel like I need to. It's an area of the country that I really enjoy visiting. I haven't been there for a while, so as I work for a company that serves this part of the world, I should really take advantage of the opportunity to travel there for free. On the train, at least, anyway. I think the Cornwall rail network was a lot more extensive, of course, until the 1960s, when the Beeching Axe came down quite heavily this part of the world. A lot of the branch lines were shut, and a lot of them now are just either, there's some heritage railways obviously, but there are a lot of walking routes where the railway lines were, which it's nice that they've been reutilised, but I think probably sometimes there would be a good case for having them now. I know back in the 1960s the rail travel was declining because of the kind of emergence of the private car, but if anybody's been to Cornwall in the sort of summertime and experience the traffic, they'll know what I mean when I say it's horrendous. Public transport isn't brilliant down this neck of the woods. And so, some of those lines now, I think one of them has been reopened fairly recently, and I wish I could remember which it was now. Oakhampton, I think. Has been hugely successful, and maybe that's an indication of the demand down there. Anyway, maybe there's an opportunity in the future for some of these lines to be opened up again. We're getting down to 14 before we come into Redruth. And actually the station's coming up as well. Yeah, a couple of minutes behind schedule, but that's fine. And that was side. excuse me, the flange squeals are quite noticeable on this bit, which is good. It's quite realistic. I'm quite impressed. It's nice on a simulator, but if you happen to be in a station where there is a lot of the noise or flange squealing, I guess is the word, it's really not very pleasant at all. If you've been to Farringdon Station, is my experience, the Thameslink northbound services, very, very noisy. Almost to the point you need to put your finger in your ears. Okay, coming to Redruth. Okay, open the doors. Look around, the snow's on the ground. Some 1990s cars over there. I think I've done most of the collectibles on this, but I'm not sure. Right, shut the doors. And we're off again. Next stop, Truro. We're still in the 40 zone here.
We will shortly be arriving at Truro.
Well, we're not really. We've got a bit of a way to go yet. We've got 7 miles. Okay, let's get some speed up. Look around the cab. I don't really spend much time looking. Here we've got here saloon lights, vestibule lights, guard heater. Have got any more people on the train? Well, a few more. A few people got on at Redruth. Oh, speeding a bit there, so I'm not watching what I'm doing. Let's bring it down a little tiny bit. Oh, we're going downhill a bit now. It's crept up again. Keep it in brake step 1. I'm not sure how accurate the buildings and stuff on the side of the tracks are on this route. Bearing in mind it was the 1990s it's set in, and what's still there and what's not, and how much development there's been. It's still quite a nice route, scenically I mean. So the on the subject of Train Sim World 4, there's a new roadmap been released, which looks. And again, I'm gonna get sacked at this rate. This driver obviously really wants to get home for New Year's Eve. Let's get the speed down. We've got a 60 coming up, so it should be back up again. Keeps going up. Yeah, with some interesting updates coming. Obviously, Middle and Main Line has received an update, although that's not a route I have. There's going to be West Somerset Railway is going to be remastered, so it's sort of more TSW4 like, I think. Although I'm really not a massive fan. I've got the West Somerset, but because it's a heritage railway, you kind of think 25 miles an hour. I think if they were to make an old version of West Somerset when it was running back in the day, and sort of proper line speeds, it'd be more interesting. But driving at 25 miles an hour everywhere, yeah, it doesn't really interest me whether they remaster it or not. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who'll be quite happy to see that. I think what else is on there. So there's some new routes coming again, I believe. So we've got a new UK route, which I think is the Goblin line, isn't it? Which is this Gospel Oak, the Barking to Gospel Oak, I think. I could be wrong. So southeastern commuter route. Let's keep one eye on the speed here. Let's get the speed down. That's it. There are an awful lot of crossings on here. Yeah, there's a new UK route. I think there's some I saw a US route or something like that as well. I can't remember. I remember seeing those the breaks down. I mean, it's quite good to see the routes coming out, and hopefully there'll be a oh, there's a Berliner line as well, isn't it, which is rivet games. I know there's some kind of interest around that, but a bit of skepticism, I think, because of some issues have been with previous rivet games releases where there's been some bugs that have taken a long time to get fixed. Okay, with 58 miles an hour, so about 2 miles to go. Oh, speeding again. I'm going to lose a few points on this, but never mind. Yeah, so I was digressing about the upcoming releases. So there's some more stuff coming out in the next few months. Hopefully get a few more developers on board. Alan Thompson perhaps would, those sort of releasing stuff. The more developers we have, the better. And the more variety of routes, the more people will buy the game, and that will, give us a virtuous circle where more developers will get in and more routes will come, and so you'll have something like, the situation with Train Sim Classic, which has obviously been out a long time now, but where you've got lots of choice of routes and developers and some good stuff. Yeah, we're about just over a mile out, a bit behind time, but but not too bad. So just over half a mile away from lovely Truro. So get the speed down. I think there's a 30 coming into the station anyway, but you don't really want to be hitting the station ramp at 30 miles an hour in the snow. We're back to the bouncing again. When you start off with a pint of milk in your shopping, it's probably going to be a pint of cheese by the time you get to the end of your journey on some of these routes with the pacer. Oh, there's 37 there. My favourite train. Oh, let's put the brake in a little bit here. There we go. I've been annoyed to have overshot this station. So here we are in Truro, which is, I think it's the largest sort of city in Cornwall, I think. It's Plymouth in Devon, I think it is. It's got a fairly big station. Some sidings over here. Lock the doors. And off we go. If you've not seen this Cornwall local before, West Cornwall local I should say, you probably notice it's quite a mix of semaphore signals like this one, and the colour lights and signal boxes around the place. I think well, fairly recently, earlier on this year, there was quite a major re-signalling work undertaken in parts of Cornwall, and a lot of the semaphore signals have been replaced with colour light signals, and a few of the signal boxes, these little ones, like the one at the end of the platform at Truro, have been closed, and the signalling excuse me, have been moved to one of the bigger signalling centres, maybe Plymouth and so on. So yeah, it's been a bit of change. I mean, if you're a train enthusiast, then semaphore signals are pretty cool, and they're very interesting historically. But if you're a driver, then they're not as easy to see as a colour light, a modern LED colour light signal, particularly in the bad weather when you know, fog or snow or heavy rain. The colour light signals are much better, and you're getting rid of apps. You're getting the method of signalling is changed and things like that. So it's all generally it's a benefit really, and it's generally safer as well. And when you consider some of these signalling signal boxes, signals themselves are probably well over 100 years old, it is probably time for a change. There are still some left. They're not all gone, but I think the plan will be obviously to get rid of them all eventually. So the next bit, we're going via a location. Which will be somewhere over here, I guess. Oh, there we are. I'm not sure why we need to know it's going via that location. It seems a bit strange, but there we go. That's what we're going to do, so that's what we'll do. Oh, another service coming the other way. That will be the oh, a bit of speeding again. That will be the sort of intercity routes, I guess, with a loco hauling a rake of Mark II or Mark III coaches. So I think we get a signal change coming up, I think, unless I've already missed it, because there are sections with no AWS and sections with AWS. I might have missed the last signal, so it's got a mile to go. I'm going to slow down because I don't actually know what the signal is going to be at when I get there. Let's have a look. Well, it's just there. Us there as well. I don't know. It's not coming up on the screen yet, so maybe not. Got a 60 coming up. Or maybe there is a signal. We're crossing over or something. Let's slow down just in case. Well, that was close. Changed up. I don't know why that's like that. I really thought we were going to spad that then. So we're 9 miles to our final destination, which is Austell. Got speed changes coming up ahead. Look over the countryside. Not much to see really. Ah, we're going over. 60 seems rather fast to going over that section. So we're in a, it looks like we're in a single line section at the moment, of which there are a number in Cornwall, I believe. Not just the branch lines. Maybe this has changed now. They might have doubled it up. Excuse me for my cough. I'll be going back up a hill again. We're also going up a bit of an incline at the moment because the speed isn't really going up, even though we've got the pedal to the metal. We'll make an announcement. Hang on, so we can.
The next stop is St Austell, where this service ends.
There we go. You heard it from the man himself. Going downhill a bit now, so we're over the brow of the hill and going down the other side. So I might have to apply a little bit of brake. Make sure we don't pick up too much speed. I'd quite like to have a go at driving these trains. I don't know if there's any in preservation at the moment. I'm sure there is. Just have a little run and see what it's like to drive. There's quite a few trains I'd like to have a go at driving actually, but steam isn't one of them. My interest is definitely diesel locomotives and DMUs. I think you can't beat the power of the revving up of a diesel engine and the soot, the cloud coming out the exhaust. Not very environmentally friendly, obviously, but yeah, that just kind of feels like there's the power there. Whereas with the electric units, yeah, they're all a bit too quiet for me. Steam trains, you know, engineering wise, they're amazing in engineering that went into them, but driving them, not really. Although I have a lot of admiration for steam train drivers of the past. Today most modern trains are fitted with lots of safety systems, plus, you know, in a closed cab with heaters and lights and all the controls nearby. I can't really imagine what it must have been like to drive in a steam train in the fog or the fog and snow with semaphore signals with poor lighting on them. You know, okay, they weren't generally going as fast as modern trains, but nevertheless it would still be quite an interesting experience. No TPWS or AWS to stop you if you make a mistake. It's proper driving skills required there, so I have a huge amount of admiration for those drivers, and they were rightly considered the kind of sort of superstars, many of them, you know, celebrities almost, some of these drivers. Enormous amount of skill required. It is why it took so long to become one. I think by the time you reach the top of the tree, you're almost ready to retire. Okay, so just over 3 miles away. Who we got in our train now? Okay, just a couple of miles to go now, or 2.5 miles to go. A long section of single line. It's a bit, we've got a risk of having such long sections of single line. So it happens, then you really are stuck. If you've got one train breaks down, that stops everything. Unless you've got passing loops, you've had it until the train's rescued. Just crept over there and get some bouncing. So we're coming to that single yellow. I'm assuming that the red is at the end of the platform. So we're bringing our speed down. Don't think there is another signal between here and there. No, there isn't, so that's good. So we could do a little announcement.
We will shortly be arriving at St Austell, where this service ends.
Just need a little announcement about please make sure you have all your belongings with you before you leave the train. We're not too far late. Well, I say that, it's a couple of minutes. Is it worth if I press it again?
The next station stop is St Austell, where this service ends.
And here we come into St Austell. Okay, so we are in St Austell. We weren't too far out. Okay, 3 minutes late or so. Oh, we're going down the road here now, so. Oh, oh, we've got the dots, so we're going. 15 miles an hour, so we're just going to go into the sidings, I'm guessing. Where we'll park the train up for the night. Okay, so that's it. That completes our little journey. This driver's finished and he's going to be off home, get ready, go to the pub and enjoy his New Year's Eve. And with that, I wish you a happy New Year too. If you're watching this around about this time of year, and please come back again and watch some more of my videos. If you've got any comments, please put them. If you've got anything you'd like me to drive, then please do that also. And once again, thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Bye bye now.